All right, let's get right into it. We're going to go under the hood of a video file, and I promise you, this is the stuff that, once you really get it, can save you from so many headaches down the line. It's absolutely foundational for any creator. So, you ever stop and really think about it? You press that record button and this file appears. But what is that thing? What's actually inside? It's a question we've all kind of had, and the answer is way cooler than you probably think.
And first things first, let's just bust the biggest myth right out of the gate. A video file is not some simple digital flipbook. It's not just a big stack of pictures, one after the other. No way. The real structure is so much smarter and more efficient than that.
This right here is the mental model you need. Think of your video file like a shipping box. It's just a package. And inside that package, you've got a few different items. You've got your compressed video stream, your compressed audio stream, and then you have this little label on the outside with all the info, like timecode. That's your metadata. Now this brings us to the two words that trip up everybody. Seriously, the container is just the box itself. It's the file extension you see, like .mov or .mp4. The codec, on the other hand, is the language, or the recipe, that was used to shrink the video and audio inside the box. So remember, box versus recipe. And this is so important to understand. Just because you see a .mov file, you actually know next to nothing about what's inside. It could be a super smooth, easy-to-edit ProRes file, or it could be a processor-crushing H.264 file that'll bring your computer to its knees. The container doesn't tell the whole story.
So now that we know what the pieces are, how do they all get put together in the first place? Well, let's follow the light, literally, from the moment it hits your camera's sensor to the second it becomes a neat little file on your memory card.
Think of your camera as a tiny, super fast factory. Light comes in and hits the sensor. That raw data gets read out. The camera's little brain then processes that image, it compresses all that data using a specific codec, that recipe we talked about, and finally it wraps it all up in a container and saves it. It happens in the blink of an eye. And right there in the middle of that factory line, you're faced with a massive decision. Are you shooting raw or processed? Shooting raw is basically like telling your camera, hey, just give me the raw data. I'll make all the creative decisions later in post. Process video is the opposite. The camera bakes in decisions about color and contrast for you. It's faster, but you lose a ton of flexibility. All right, let's talk about the big one. Compression. It's something we literally cannot live without in the world of video. But man, it can also be a total pain. It's the hidden cause behind so many editing headaches. So, why do we even bother? Well, this is why. Just look at that number. 1.79 terabytes. That's for a single hour of uncompressed 4K video. It's insane. Without compression, we'd need server farms just to store our vacation footage. It's just not practical. So, video compression basically breaks down into two big families. You've got intraframe, or all-I, where every single frame is a self-contained, compressed picture. And then you have interframe, often called long GOP, which is clever. It only stores the changes from one frame to the next. And right there, that's the fundamental trade-off. Easy editing or small file size. You're almost always trading one for the other. And this shows you exactly how that works. In that long GOP world, only the I frames are a whole picture. The other frames, the P and B frames, are basically just little bits of data that say, hey, go look at that last iframe and just change this one part over here. They can't exist on their own. They depend on other frames. And this is the aha moment for so many people. This is exactly why you can have a beast of a computer that still stutters and lags with a tiny little file from your phone. To show you even one frame, your computer might have to find the last full picture and then apply all the little change files in between. It's a massive amount of work, and that's what makes your timeline feel so heavy. Okay, so this brings up a really important point for your entire workflow. The best kind of file for shooting is almost never the best kind of file for editing, and that is definitely not the best kind of file for delivery or streaming. You need different tools for different jobs. In fact, when you get into high-end visual effects, things get even more interesting. Professionals often don't even use video files in the way we think of them. They use image sequences, where every single frame is its own individual file. Why? Think about it. If one file gets corrupted during a 24-hour render, you only lose one frame, not the entire shot. It's all about safety. So let's put this all into a super practical cheat sheet. You've got something like H265 or HEVC, which is fantastic for making tiny files for streaming, but it is an absolute monster to edit. Then you've got Apple ProRes, which creates much larger files, but it's smooth as butter on your timeline. Your computer will thank you. And then EXR is king for VFX work, where safety and data are everything. And then, of course, after all that work, what happens when you upload to a place like YouTube? Well, they basically take your carefully crafted file and throw it in the trash. They re-encode everything you give them into these tiny little chunks so they can switch the quality up and down on the fly based on someone's internet connection. Okay, that was a lot, I know. So what are the big takeaways here? How do you actually put all this knowledge to work on your next project? Let's boil it down to a simple checklist.
Here's what you need to burn into your brain. First, know the difference between a container and a codec, the box and the recipe. Second, know when to use interframe for editing and interframe for delivery. Third, and this is a big one, always check for variable frame rate footage. Phones love to shoot this way, and it will absolutely wreck your audio sync, I promise. And finally, protect your footage. Use a checksum copy when you transfer files. It's like insurance for your data, verifying that every bit and byte made it over safely.
Look, at the end of the day, this isn't about being a tech nerd just for the sake of it. This is about being a smarter creator. Understanding this stuff gives you control. It lets you troubleshoot problems faster and build a smoother, more professional workflow. So now that you can see what's going on under the hood, the only real question is, what are you going to build?